Yo, wait till my guys' big Briz. And coming into this project, I knew that there were going to be two games that I've never played before, and doing this retrospective thing, I knew I would be like experiencing them for the first time. The first of those was the original. Oh my god. The first of those. Sorry, I think the case is breaking apart. The first of those being the original PS1 Spider-Man game, which is kind of just like the case is really broken. I might need to find a replacement case for this. But I actually really liked that one. I thought that, you know, you can watch my video on it. I thought that the level design and everything was like really well, especially considering they weren't going off of any of like the movie adaptations because there was no movie at the time. And then the second one being Spider-Man Edge of Time, and this one I disliked. And I am actually starting to think that maybe there was a bit of nostalgia bias with how I review these things, because this will end up being my most negative one out of all the games I've played so far. There is one other one which is so bad I might not even review. But with this game, I just played half of it, wasn't enjoying myself. Then Marvel Rivals came out, and I had no reason to hop off Marvel Rivals because I could play it with my friends, and I had no reason to plug. I had no like drive or ambition to plug in my PS3 and my capture card back in, which is quite a process if you've ever done it before. And then, you know, finish off this game that I'm really not enjoying, and then continue writing the notes and research, and it just wasn't a great game. But let's find out why, because I actually do want to get this project finished, and I'm willing to deal with just one bad one in a cycle of, I think honestly it doesn't get much better for the next two, and then it gets really good after the next two. So Spider-Man Edge of Time. So before I go into like my biggest gripes about this game, which is it's basically going to revolve around it just being Shattered Dimensions, like a pseudo sequel for Shattered Dimensions, but just less game. I want to talk about some of the things that I actually really like about this game, because there is actually a lot. So the main one being is basically you play as two variants of the Spider-Man from the last game. You play as the Amazing version, which is voiced by Josh Keaton again, which, like I said, is my favorite voice actor for the character ever.
Yoo-hoo! Excuse me, can I come in this way, or do I have to break my own window? Woohoo! I'm wearing her down! Oh, I got the thing on the thing! What do I win?
You!
I win me? That makes no sense.
O'Hara, maybe I would have listened to you. You did keep saying shuck all the time. How? How are you always wherever I'm doing a job? What do you got, some kind of spider sense or
That's
something?
funny you should say that.
And my second most favorite voice actor for the character is Christopher Daniel Barnes, who was the Spider-Man from the 90s TV show. He's actually playing Miguel, which is the other variant of the other playable Spider-Man character that you play as in this game. And while this isn't the last time that Chris Barnes voiced a Spider-Man character, this was the last time that he had a major role in voicing the character. So, I mean, hey, that's a pretty big positive for me at least. The main villain, or at least one of the main villains of this game, is voiced by now deceased former Batman voice actor Val Kilmer. And Val Kilmer's playing Walker Sloan, which is one of the 299 villains, and he is a higher up at Alchemax, which you may have seen over here somewhere. And Alchemax is the main competitor for Stark Fujikawa, which you may have also seen here. And the plot basically revolves around Sloan wanting to go back in time to Peter's dimension 100 years in the past to build Alchemax before it even started, so he could be the leader and founder and essentially stop Stark Fujikawa from even existing, because honestly, I can't remember, and it wasn't that interesting. But basically, they're a big evil corporation, and Stark Fujikawa was founded by Tony Stark, who's a hero, so I guess. And the title screen in the first level is sort of like a beginning of the end style opening, which is probably one of my favorite ways of opening a story, because I think it's quite interesting to see how, you know, you get from here to there by showing you where we are at, rather than how we got there. It shows Peter fighting Anti-Venom whilst Miguel is trying to get to Peter, and even the pause menu shows like the result of this by having Miguel holding Peter, who's clearly been like badly like injured and defeated in battle. And after the prologue, it starts off with Miguel breaking into Alchemax and finding out what Sloan's plan even is. And even the first interaction between Miguel and Peter proves that this is a pseudo sequel for Shattered Dimensions, because Peter even says,
Peter Parker.
Who's that? Who's talking?
Miguel O'Hara, the Spider-Man from 2099.
Are the other me's in my head too?
No, it's just me and you, old-timer.
Which, honestly, like, I think they could have done without, but I guess it's sort of just like, oh, you know, they do know of each other. It's not like this is the first time Peter's even heard of there being other Spider-Man variants, because they've already interacted. Even though it was a different voice actor. So, for both of them. So, and if you don't know who Anti-Venom is already, he is a version of Eddie Brock. I think he's also canon, that lost the symbiote Venom and developed cancer. And he was inside one of the feast shelters where Martin Lee, who you know is who you might know as Mr. Negative, actually used his powers to bring out the latent symbiote that's inside Eddie that sort of like gave birth to Anti-Venom. Not only is he called Anti-Venom because of his color change, it's a mostly white body with a black symbol, but he also has the ability to take away Peter's powers, which is how he was able to defeat him at the first boss fight. In this first sort of intro level, you notice that the combo moves for Peter is basically the same, except the heavy attack by pressing triangle that was in Shattered Dimensions is now a ranged attack in this game, which is the same. It's just the web abilities, the web throwing those boulders and stuff is at a range rather than just being like AoE attacks from like a close range. And we also have some new collectibles in this game. You have the red ones, which obviously heal you like with the other game, I believe. The golden spiders are back, but they're not just collectibles anymore. They're a direct currency for upgrading both Peter and Miguel's abilities. They have their own respective upgrade trees, but they also have a shared one, which is very similar to something that we will see later on in one of the later Spider-Man games. The game does have one main way of highlighting the differences between how Peter fights and how Miguel fights. The first one is how the L2 button is used. For Miguel, L2 creates an after image, which enemies will target instead of Miguel himself. You're not invincible in this form, you can still get attacked if you're within like the blast radius of whatever's being hit. And the first main use of this is trying to get a rocket to hit a door. So you lure the rocket to the door, create the image, and then it just blasts the door open. With Peter, he has this sort of like Ultra Instinct mode, where as you hold it, it makes him immortal. He can't get hit by anything. And it'll show these animations of him doing these perfect dodges around. It's sort of just a new way of having a dodge mechanic, and unlike with the one that I liked in Spider-Man 2, it's not a dodge mechanic because you have to press the button before the attack even happens, not when the attack is happening. However, with Miguel, if you press L2 at the right moment, you can create a perfect image. The R1 ability is also something that's very different between the way Peter and Miguel fights. With Peter, it's just the web strike. It's no different to how it was in Shattered Dimensions, and unfortunately, it's nothing like how it is in Web of Shadows. We're never going to get that back, and I'm so upset. However, with Miguel, instead of having Peter go to the enemies, what Miguel does is throw an after image behind the enemy to hit them, to bring them towards Miguel, which I think is kind of cool. However, it's basically the same thing. You bring the enemies towards you. However, it is really helpful if you're in the sky and you want to keep the combo going, because while Peter will be from the sky going towards an enemy to fight, Miguel will be in the sky bringing an enemy towards him to do some air combos, and much like in every Spider-Man game, air combos are absolutely OP. One of my favorite things about this game is as Peter does something in his time, it has an immediate effect on Miguel's time.
What the shock?
What happened?
The elevator I'm in just changed into a closet.
Huh. Rock just tried to kill me with an elevator. Weird coincidence.
Maybe not.
Wait, what? Something I did here had an effect on you in 2099? That's impossible.
No, theoretically, it's not. The idea is called quantum causality. The two gateways created a link between our times.
Like a wormhole through the fourth dimension.
Right. Normally, changing the past just creates an alternate timeline. But thanks to the wormhole, what you do there affects my time, and vice versa.
So I can change things here, now, that can immediately change things in the future? That's amazing. Spectacular, even.
Which I think is kind of stupid, because an elevator is quite important for a large building. You're telling me in 100 years they never fixed it? Like, in 100 years, you thought, like, you know what, let's just scrap the elevator and put something else in there. Another more useful aspect of this was when Miguel was fighting a giant robot, and in Peter's time, the robot was still being built. Again, 100 years? But anyway, the quest for Peter was to destroy the robot's fabrication facility before Miguel gets killed by it.
Still with me, O'Hara?
Faster! Faster would be better!
I'm doing my best.
Best! Not good enough!
No! O'Hara! Hang on! O'Hara, there's nothing left here to trash. You still there?
For the most part.
Did they turn into something else? Like, I don't know, kittens?
Yeah, Small, metal, robotic, killer kittens.
Aww.
But it's not always positive.
Parker, my path to the 66th floor is blocked by some kind of force field.
Welcome to my world. Hi, is it okay with you if I destroy that security mainframe behind the glass?
Protect security mainframe.
It's worth a shot. I'm about to destroy the security mainframe. How you doing, O'Hara? You still stuck?
Yeah.
Well, listen and learn, newbie. Ta-da! That solved both our problems, right?
My force field just changed into sentries. Robot guards.
This whole quantum causality thing is a real wild card. I can't control if it makes things better or worse. Well, at least I can get through the door now.
Which again, it's really stupid. It makes no sense, but it's one of the few times where like a time travel game actually has like this form of like direct change between the two times. I haven't really spoken about swinging too much in this game because it's basically the same as the last game. Nothing has changed. You can swing, you can go directly up again, which again I like, but like it's done now. You can also zip to points, which great. Like they didn't really change anything with the swinging at all. And honestly, with these linear games, swinging isn't that important, especially with this game because and you know what? This is my least favorite thing about this game. It's just dull because the whole game is done inside the Alchemax laboratories. So I think I spoke about this in the last game where all of Miguel's missions were these metal corridors which led to battle arenas and metal corridors which led to battle arenas, and this whole game is that. This whole game is a bunch of chrome metal labs, corridors, fighting arenas. It's just so dull, and they do very little to make the scenery of this game interesting or unique. In Shattered Dimensions, you were in the jungle, you were in the future, you were in the Electro facility, you were in one of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s hangars. But this is just metal corridors and big open laboratories which are just battle arenas. And I hate that. Another currency in the game that sort of acts like a trail for you to follow is the blue tokens, which you use to buy combat upgrades. They can also determine like where you're supposed to go, but it sort of makes progression seem a bit forced because it makes you double back on your path if you want to get all the orbs in the area. And why wouldn't you? You want to get all those combat upgrades as soon as possible. But the way that this is set up is that, oh, you have two branching paths, but you can take both. And if you want to upgrade all your things quicker, you want to get both. Another sort of like mini game that was taken from Shattered Dimensions was the freefall sections in Miguel's missions. However, these ones are really bad, even worse than the ones before. Before they were just diving down to grab an enemy to just like do a beatdown in first person. This one, it's more like it's just hell. I guess the main reason for that is because when I play a flying game, everything for me is inverted. So whilst my right is right and my left is left, I like to pull down to go up, and I like to pull up to go down. It's like that for GTA, it's like that for Batman Arkham. So the fact that this one wasn't inverted and I couldn't change it to be inverted, it took me a while to get used to. However, the way that I sort of like moved around it is you can actually see a cursor of where Miguel or Peter's going to go, and then I just saw that as going up, down, left, right, instead of looking at Peter trying to go up, down, left, right. This one, that was probably one of the things that made me want to not play this game that much, because it was a big pain. And all that would have changed, all I would have liked to have changed is to have it inverted. And then I would have maybe enjoyed it, but it was really bad. So at some point during Act 2, Peter ends up in 2099 and Miguel's actually in Peter's timeline. And Peter's going through the Alchemax archives and actually finds out that MJ, who was working at Alchemax, dies on the day that Miguel is there right now. Now, Miguel's a bit hesitant to help MJ because it's sort of just like her destiny. She's going to die that day. She's already dead where Peter is, which is in 2099. And Peter sort of gives Miguel this speech about what it means to be like a Spider-Man and how you can't just let... You know what? I'm just going to play the clip and I'll talk about my feelings about it afterwards.
Okay, I'm here. So how do I access it?
Enter my password. Lyla. Lyla.
Access denied.
Oh, great. You got any other ideas?
Let me think.
I wish I could just say open sesame or grant me access or...
Request acknowledged. Access granted.
That was weird. Okay, let's go over the startup procedures.
Slow down, Parker. It's not that simple.
Did you fire up the quark enhancers? Activate the tachyon relays?
Yes, I did all that. No, you just...
Uncouple the Heisenberg compensators.
Yes, of course I did. Oh, shocking. No, I didn't.
I was right? Wow. Oh no.
What's wrong?
It's Mary Jane. She dies. Tonight. Right there at Alchemax.
How do you know? For shock's sake, Parker, what part of Don't Poke Around in the Archives was unclear?
Fine, I'm a nosy Parker, but now that I've found out, it's
what? My job to save her? I've got enough to deal with.
You can't mean that. You can't just ignore that she's in danger.
Hey, I'm trying to focus on what's important.
What's important is not standing by and allowing someone to suffer or die because you do nothing. If you don't get that, then you don't get the first thing about being Spider-Man.
You're the one who doesn't get it, Parker. The future depends on...
My future is meaningless without her.
This is gonna be a huge mistake.
I owe you, Miguel. Big time.
Shocking right you do. But, well, maybe this'll help even the score for everything the world owes you.
Thank you. I mean that. Man, I must have been crazy to think about staying here. If people I love are going to be in danger, then I need to be there to help them. Oh, now what?
Did I hear you talking about someone you love? I think that's my cue, Spider.
Holy, it is her.
And it's really good. I mean, honestly, after watching the Spider-Verse movies, it really does make sense, like with the whole canon event thing and how against the canon events Miles is, because if you know something is going to happen and you choose to do nothing about it, are you really a good person when you can stop it from happening? People are going to suffer, people are going to die. The only thing I don't really love about this is that I kind of wish it wasn't MJ. Like, it was someone else. Someone maybe Peter didn't know, or Miguel didn't know. I guess it's a bit more impartial, because obviously Peter has way more of an incentive to save MJ than just a random person that works in the Archemax libraries or archives. And it would be a lot more harder to convince Miguel to go out of his way to risk the mission to do it. Otherwise, I think everything that Peter is saying to Miguel still applies, even if it wasn't MJ or Harry or someone that he knew personally. Also, in this cutscene, there's sort of like a foreshadow where Peter's voice was able to just open the Alchemax archives, regardless of what password he would put in, and it's sort of just like, oh, that's kind of funny, but no, there actually is a story towards this. Peter is actually the bad guy in this game.
I'm en route to the gateway room. Tell me when you're there as well. We have to time this right.
You got it, Miguel.
Oh, how nice. You and your counterpart are on a first-name basis now. It's good to know you've bonded.
Who are you?
I'm the CEO of Alchemax. The real question is, who are you, old friend?
Old friend? So this is where you make the big reveal, and I say, holy cow, Norman Osborn, or the Kingpin, Jonah Jameson. Come on, please be Jameson.
All of them long dead, I fear. Too bad they didn't have access to the anti-aging drug we developed. Does wonders for you. And I do mean you.
No, it can't be.
Can't be, yes. Why do people always say that? Good thing your future counterpart saved us, eh? Otherwise, we couldn't be this.
I become the evil mastermind?
Oh, don't be melodramatic. With great power comes great responsibility and great opportunity. And the only way to live up to all that responsibility is to use every opportunity to get all the power. I learned that the day I lost everyone I loved and didn't have the power to stop it.
What do you mean, everyone?
You'll find out. Except once I've fixed reality, you actually won't find out. Consider yourself lucky.
In that timeline where everything changes, Peter finds a way for him to stop aging. He creates a sort of de-aging formula that allows him to be Spider-Man forever. So that way he can essentially save people forever, because he was contemplating this whole thing about like him not being in his timeline, because whilst he's in the timeline, people do suffer. He was told this by Black Cat, who also took this de-aging formula.
How much rejection is a girl supposed to take?
Black Cat? I was praying I was wrong. Felicia, what have they...
Help me, Spider. They gave me an anti-aging drug. For decades, made me over.
Spider-Sense going nuts. You're lying. The real Felicia, she would have never let them...
Never let them what? Turn me into this? You destroyed me, Spider. After what you did, I didn't care what happened.
I don't know what you're talking about.
And she told him that, yo, even though he gave her immortality, he still screwed her over, and for whatever reason. And look, I actually do have like a lot of notes regarding the story of this game, and the story is kind of a focus of this over anything else, because the mechanics and stuff haven't changed that much. But even then, it's not that good. At least compared to like what's gonna come later, so I'm just not gonna focus on the plot that much. But the ending does have this really cool boss battle. Like it's a double boss battle where you have Miguel fighting this older version of Peter, this future version of Peter, and then you have Peter fighting the white anti-venom Doc Ock. And it has this really cool ending where Peter actually has to use Doc Ock's arms to bring future Peter into the past, which sort of like drains his powers because of the anti-venom thing, which stops him from aging. And that's sort of how it ends. I mean, look, honestly, this actually might be my worst video ever made, because this video just wasn't that good. Also, I'm blaming Marvel Rivals, because this took me a long time. It didn't take me that long. I started recording an hour ago, and I could have just done this in an hour, but I didn't. So, Edge of Time, I didn't like it. The mechanics didn't change. The story is the main focus, and it just wasn't that interesting. The time travel stuff was really good, and that exchange between Peter and Miguel were also pretty decent. The combat was pretty okay. I guess there was a little bit of a difference between the two, but it's still just mashing X, honestly, and pressing R1 every now and again to move to the next enemy, or to bring the enemy closer to you. Metal corridors and metal labs, which have just these really boring traversal sections, puzzles, and fighting arenas. And yeah, that's Spider-Man Edge of Time. I'm gonna tell you right now, this is going in like D tier. Like, I'm at the end of this project, I'm gonna do a tier list. This is going in D tier. I did not like this that much. Maybe whilst editing this video, I might change my mind, but as of right now, I don't have much to say positively about this. And yeah, I've been Big Riz, and I promise the next one won't be this bad. This is gonna be my poster. I'm gonna keep this here forever as how not to make a video, because this is bad. Even this outro, I don't do outros. I think me just not having an outro would have made this video better. But anyway, in a bit, I've been Big Riz. I did that twice now. Okay, bye.